Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to implement an Azure IoT Hub, and we are going to simulate a Raspberry Pi device and be able to talk to our Hub that we're going to create within our Azure infrastructure. Now, this lab is specifically built for everyone who are studying for the Microsoft Azure Fundamentals certification, which is AZ-900. It's an entry-level certification, and you should not have too much difficulty in passing that exam. Just study well. There are lots of contents out there. And in this series of lab, you see this is the seventh lab that we are doing. There are a whole bunch of labs on GitHub from Microsoft Learning that are developed for AZ-900. There are 23 of them. And in this video today, we are working on the seventh lab. Okay, and that is implement the Azure IoT Hub. So really, if you look at the what we're going to do in this walkthrough, we're going to configure a new IoT Hub in the portal and then authenticate a connection to IoT device using online Raspberry Pi device simulator. So we're not going to use a real Raspberry Pi. You can if you have one, but in this case, we're just going to simulate a device. Sensor data and messages are passed from Raspberry Pi simulator to your Azure IoT Hub, and you view metrics for the messaging activity in Azure Portal. So one thing I want you to stress, IoT device, there are not a lot of great solution for enterprise IoT device management. So when it comes down to IoT, always think about Azure as a potential solution that you can use to manage all of your IoT devices, and this is really great. Something that you should remember and do your own research on. So to do this lab with me, you need a Azure subscription, and if you do not have one, just go to the Azure portal, get a free subscription, and you should be ready to go. So let's just get started with the lab. So what all we are doing, we'll go to the portal, and we are going to look for a service called IoT Hub, and then create an instance of that service, and you're going to configure it just the way the lab is suggesting. So let's just go to my Azure environment. So I'm in there. I always search for a service in the service bar. So just search that one, IoT Hub, and that showed up at the very top. Just click on that one, and I should have, there's no IoT Hub because I haven't created any. So you can click on this blue button, or just traditionally just hit on the add. That should open up a new window with some options that we can fill in, like over here. So we need the subscription. It will be your own subscription. We need a resource group, and we need a name for the IoT Hub. So let's go back over here. Resource group, we're going to create a new one. My RGIoT is the name of the resource group that we're gonna say configure, and hit OK. So that's the new resource group that will be created as part of the deployment. Region East US is OK, and for IoT Hub name, let's just copy that one and put some hub name and just put 1111. This is not available. 1113. This is now available. So if there's a name that is not available in your region, Azure is going to tell you. So Azure is smart, but this name we can use. So the next is the networking. So click on the networking, and over here, let's see what we need to do. Here they are moving directly from the first blade to the size and scale. So networking, we can select all the default options. So public endpoint is good. Let's go to size and the scale. This is where I would recommend that you spend some time. So let's first see what are they asking. They are asking for just to select the S1 and standard tier, and go with the deployment. So let's come back over here. Okay, so the standard tier is automatically selected. The first thing, under this standard tier, you have a little tiny link, learn how to choose the right IoT Hub tier for your solution. So I would highly recommend that you open it up, okay, and you do some reading. Which feature do I plan to use? How much data do I plan to move daily? Okay, basic and standard tiers. Okay, so basically each IoT Hub tier is available in three sizes based around how much data throughput they can handle. The sizes are numerically identified as 1, 2, and 3. For example, each unit of level 1 IoT Hub can handle 400,000 messages a day, while a 3 unit can handle up to 300 million. So that to me is like a testable question. If you have 400,000 messages a day, what is the tier that you're going to use? Okay, basic and standard tier. The standard tier enables all features and is required for any IoT solution that want to make use of the bi-directional communication capabilities. Okay, so that is important. The basic tier enables a subset of the features and is intended for IoT solution that only needs unidirectional communication from devices to the cloud. So again, another very testable question may be, what tier do you need? Can you perform a bidirectional message communication using the basic tier? And your answer is going to be no. We need at least a standard tier for bidirectional messaging. Then just go through your capability. Basic tier, device to cloud telemetry, yeah, it's available a lot of things: pre-device identity, messaging routing, message enrichment, event grid integration. They're all available for both basic and free. Even monitoring and diagnostic, device provisioning service, HTTP, AMQP, and MQTT protocol for messaging, all of that, they're also available. So where your free versus standard tier, where it goes beyond, is cloud to device messaging. So device to client, cloud is available everywhere, but if you want to send back some messages back to your outer devices, you gotta use the standard tier. Okay, then device twins, module twins, device management is only available with the free standard tier. Device streams, Azure IoT Edge, Azure plug and play. So all these devices, pay some attention and kind of understand where you would really require a standard tier. Okay, partitions, tier upgrade. So once you have one tier, you can upgrade the basic tier to the standard tier without interrupting your existing operation. Another testable question: can you really upgrade? There are some services where you cannot, but for other services that you can. Okay, so for some services, once you upgrade, you cannot downgrade. So pay some attention to these kind of topics and just read through it. And APIs, you probably won't be tested for 900 exam, but just kind of do a quick browse through this particular document. Is very useful one. So now once you have good little bit of understanding what you really need, so here if you click on here, you see S1, S2, S3 for the standard, B1, B2, B3 for the basic, and free is just free tier. Okay, so we are going to go with this one, and number of S1 IoT hubs, and determines how you IoT hubs can scale. You can change this later if you need to increase. So here, let's see if I can go. So it's we can have up to 200 IoT hub units. So that's again another testable question: how many IoT hub units you may have. Is the minimum is one. We're gonna set keep the default one. Defender for IoT. This is from for the protection and security. Turn on Defender. It's really the Azure Defender for IoT, and add an extra layer of threat protection to IoT Hub, IoT Edge, and devices. So I would recommend that you turn it on. And a little bit look at the pricing and scale tiers. This is device to cloud messages. These are all enabled. Defender, how much it costs, very looks like very cheap. Cost per month is $25 USD. Cloud device commands, that's enabled. Messages per day 400,000, that's available to us. You can look at some of the advanced settings. Device to cloud partitioning, we have 4 available to us right now as well. So let's go back. So a little bit more than what the lab just suggested. So I would always recommend that do some browsing, try to understand the features a little bit more than just following the labs, word by word. So I think you have a little bit more understanding now. Next, go to the tags. I recommend always you put tags. For the lab exercises, I don't need any, so I'm going to create, review and create. But for the production, you always use tags. You can review what you have. So here's the subscription, resource group. Here's the region where it's going to be deployed. Then you have the IoT Hub name, connectivity public endpoint, so anyone can connect to that one. Your pricing tier is S1, number of slots is 1. Number of messages it can support is 400,000. Device to cloud partition we have 4. It's going to cost me $25 a month, and Defender of IoT is enabled. Just hit on create, and this should deploy IoT Hub for us. Okay, and again, this is our standard window where it's going to show us what is going on. You can also click on this notification bar to look at what is going on, cross it out. While this is going on, let's go back to the lab. Let's see what else do we need to do. So task 1 is pretty much what is going on at the moment. Task 2 is add an IoT device. In this task, we are going to add an IoT device to the IoT Hub. And how do you do that? When the deployment is completed, we are going to go to the instance, and we are what we'll do, uh, we are going to scroll down to the explore section and click on the IoT devices and add new. So that should be a fairly simple exercise for us. So this deployment is still going on, and it says the status is created. You can always click on the operational details right in here. It also brings up this window, and it will give you some more details of that deployment operation, operation ID, operation name, provisioning operation, provisioning state, it's still running, timestamp, duration, how long it's been running, tracking ID, service requested, status created, type, what type of deployment is going on. It's Microsoft device IoT hubs. It's going to give you the resource ID, the resource instance name, and then deployment correlation ID. So lots of information are available over here if you want to dig some deeper, and if you want to use any of the information for any other purposes. Okay. Also, you can always, if you want to go to some other page, like you can go to the resource page itself, and if there are other resources that needs to be created as part of deployment, you will see them show up in here. In here also you have this deployment tab. It says deploying, and looks like the deployment just got succeeded. So I can click on the deploying, and it should now say the deployment is now succeeded. Okay, so I can click on that one as well, and it says my deployment is complete. So I can click on this go to resource button, and it will take me to the instance, and it is the IoT Hub instance. Its name is my hub group 1113. How do you know? The icon is unique for IoT hubs, and it also says IoT Hub over here. Just verify that your everything looks good. That's the standard pricing tier, uh, host name, resource group, status active, everything looks good. So over here, what we need to do, automatic device management. Let me see which tab we need to do. We go to the Explorer section and click the IoT devices. So let's come back over here. Let's just do IoT, and here is the Explorer section. Again, as I said, if you have lots of blades in here, it might be easier to just search which blade you're looking for. Under the Explorer, you just click on the IoT devices, and this view is also pretty simple. You just click on new to add a new device. Okay, so now here we need to do some stuff. So we are done up to this point, and we're gonna call it a Raspberry Pi. We're gonna copy that name, and come back over here. Device name is going to be Raspberry Pi. Let's see what else do I need to do, and click the save button. This will create a new IoT device identity in your IoT hub. So that's all we really needed. So here just hit on save. Okay, so that has created a device ID for us. Let's see what next that you need to do. In my select now we're going to select that device and copy the primary connection string value. So over here, what we're going to go, once we have this device, I'm going to copy that one, and this one should give me a primary connection string value. And if you click on that one, okay, hope it copied. Let's see it copied or not. So let's paste. Yes, it did. So just copy that one. So all you need to do, take your mouse over there and right click on it, and it will copy the primary connection string for you. So once that is done, we can use this key in the next task to authenticate connection to our Raspberry Pi simulator. So that is what we did, right? So here now we want to test the device using Raspberry Pi simulator. So what you need to do, you need to open up the online Raspberry Pi simulator, and I'm just gonna go over there and read about the Raspberry Pi simulator. If there is an option overview pop-up, select X to close the window. So over here, so there is the options, overview of Raspberry Pi, what do you need to do, how do you simulate. You can spend some time on that one. I'm just gonna close this one for now. And here if you see, we got a little bit of code in here as well. So if you can guess, we will probably need to provide the connection string in this code somewhere before we run this code to be able to connect to the Azure IoT Hub, right? So let's come back over here and look at that. So here in the code area, right side, look at the line with constant connection string. Replace it with the connection string you copied. So you are looking for the connection string parameter variable. So come over here. So connection string, look at that, your IoT Hub device connection string. So I'm just gonna delete that. Oh. And I'm gonna paste the connection string that I had, and I think that's all I need. Note the connection string includes the device ID that we have already seen. So from here, it uses the device ID right there, and it also uses the host name. That's good. So let's come back where we were, and now we simply need to click the run button, and let's see what happens. So come back over here, click the run. Oh, it says can't find variable LED in. So let's see what else that we messed up. Okay. Gonna try to do a control A and then run. Still it's not running. So let's go back over here to the console. Output should show the sensor data and messages that are sent to the Raspberry Pi, but it looks like uh, that simulator got some problems. So let's come back over here one more time. LED pin is not available. LED pin. So it seems like this simulator itself is having some problem. Reset and run. It's only saying replace. So let's do it one more time. Let's replace with our key. Let's run, and this time it's a success. It's messages sent to Azure. So now your pin is working just fine. So for whatever reason, it took a little bit of time for the Raspberry Pi to work. It was not able to find some database, some variable at the beginning. So if you have trouble, just try it out a couple times, and it's working just fine. So if you notice what is happening over here, we have a loop where if you look at the message IDs, they are keep increasing. So it's sending messages after messages after messages back to the IoT Hub. So what we should be able to see from our IoT Hub that these messages that we are receiving properly. So let's go back to the IoT Hub and let's see what where we need to look at that. So what you need, you can do, you can click stop to stop sending the data now because you have sent a whole bunch of them. And here's the stop button. So let's Click on that one. So we have sent 27 messages so far before we stopped. So click on over here. Now we can go back to the IoT Hub. Okay, and from the overview, IoT Hub usage is what we need to see. So come over here, go back to your IoT Hub, go to overview, and from the overview, where is my IoT Hub usage? And look at that, it says messages used today 430, and our daily quota is 400,000. Okay, let's see what else I need to do in this lab. It looks like that's pretty much it. That's all we needed to do for this lab. And again, once you're done with this lab, delete the resource group so that you are not getting billed for the resources that probably you will not be using outside the lab. So let's go back over here one more time. So here is where it picked up. So if I do last 30 days, here is when there was nothing going on for me for a long time because we didn't even have anything. But there's a spike up to 30 where we have the number one IoT devices. It started getting messages. Here are the cloud messages that you're getting, which is device to cloud. A connected device, here is one connected device that we have. So lots of nice and cool things that are now we have available over here. And I would recommend that you spend some time diagnostic settings and logs and your metrics and message routing. Some of the items, just go through these other blades and just kind of just spend some time and see what you can do and how it looks from from a from just overview and what the IoT Hub can do for you. A lot of things probably you will not need for your 900 exam, but just be kind of familiar with this IoT Hub and just understand the differences, understand what you can do, understand how many messages can you send based on a particular tier. That's all you need to kind of ace that exam. So again, if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe, and leave your valuable comments so I can do and better my videos next time. If you're studying for the exam, good luck and have a great day. Thank you.